going on, Geeklings? Sean here, and tonight, as promised by Shannon earlier this week, I am bringing you a new style of video. So I went to Reddit and collected a few Am I the Bad Guy stories, and that is a censored word. But am I the bad guy? I chose 3 stories, and I'm going to go ahead and read them and give my opinion. Maybe read some comments, and then we could have a discussion in the comments down below if you believe person 1, 2, or 3 are bad guys in their stories, or if they're not. So the first story is titled, Am I the Bad Guy for Refusing to Drop Out of College so my brother can go to med school? I, a 21-year-old female, and the third of 7 children. I have 5 brothers who are 24, 23, 20, 18, and 15, and a younger sister at 16. Because there's so many of us, our parents let us know that they could only afford for 4 of us to pursue higher education. My older brothers decided to start working straight out of high school, and my sister's planning to get a GED. So this wasn't a problem until recently, when my youngest sibling at 15 told us he wanted to become a doctor. Obviously, my parents don't have enough left in the college fund for this. I and 2 of my brothers, who are 20 and 18, are already in college. They borrowed some money and even got my older brothers to chip in a bit. But they still don't even have close to enough. So they told me they could not pay for my remaining time in college and asked me to drop out. They said that with that money that they saved from me dropping out, they would be able to save up enough in the next 3 years to send him. I only have 2 years left before graduation, and I don't want to be left without a degree in the midst of a pandemic. So I said no. I am already paying for part of my tuition fees with the money I make from my part-time job, so I also have no savings whatsoever. My parents got really upset and asked why I couldn't make one small sacrifice for my brother's future. They said there would be no difference since an arts degree is as good as having no degree, and my brother is a straight-A student, so he'll definitely do well as a doctor. I feel bad about rejecting him, since I know they'll just ask one of my younger brothers who are in college to drop out. I don't intend on giving up halfway through my studies, though. Am I the bad guy here? So, OP, no, I don't think you are. I think that it's pretty rude of your parents to ask. I think that if he truly wants to go down the med school route, and he's a straight-A student, there are scholarships and grants for him to be able to do so. There's student tuition loans and, the FAFSA and all that stuff that he could use at his disposal to pay for his education, which is going to cost more than all 3 other educations, both you and your brothers, all combined. Med school is insanely expensive. Also, the child is 15, and I know that not everyone is like this, but for the most part, at least I was. I didn't have a single clue what I wanted to do at 15. He's likely going to change what he wants to do with the rest of his life 5 times before he even ships out to college. And that's not to say that he doesn't get to med school and decide, hey, this isn't for me. There's a lot of people who ship out to med school and realize that it's a lot harder and demands a lot more of them than they're willing to give, and there is a very high dropout rate. So He may even get there and decide, you know what, this isn't for me, and your parents will have wasted not only his future but yours after asking you to drop out like that. Also, it's not one small sacrifice. They're asking you to forego and destroy your own future for his. That's not a small sacrifice. They're basically asking you to fall on a sword for your brother, and I don't think that that's right of them. And I hope that you stay in college, and even if your parents don't pay for it, if they pull the funding, you do whatever you can to get student loans, attach them to yourself if you have to, but stay in college, stay in school, and finish off your degree. So let's go ahead and read some comments from other Reddit posters and see if they agree with me. Let's see. Top comment: your straight A student brother can get scholarships to can get scholarships to pay for undergrad. Last time I checked, med school is close to $200,000, which is about right. Here in America, at least. Your parents not helping with your undergrad, so they can save, won't be enough. That's true. You can drop out, and both your brothers can drop out, and they're still not going to have enough money. They have no idea how much med school costs. Yeah, and seriously, your parents said they'd pay for 4 out of 7 of you. Pay for some or none at all. Yeah. I'm just gonna go ahead and say that that's not cool. Let's see. Even paid universities are not as expensive as the ones we see abroad. I get a bit shocked after learning that people can go bankrupt or spend 10 years paying student loans in the U.S. Yeah, our schooling system, our higher education system is unbelievably expensive. Let's see if there's any more. Oh, here's an awarded one. I have a degree in fine arts. Oh, good, they touched on this. I wanted to touch on that to say that a degree in arts is worth nothing. That stigma is so old and worn out. Can we just not anymore? Like, an arts degree is not nothing. Not nothing, double negative. I have a degree in the fine arts, specifically design. With that degree, I've employed myself, bought and paid off a house, put my kid through college, as well as his higher degree in the same field. I have 0 debts, and I plan to keep it that way. The problem isn't the degree. The problem is what you do or don't do with said degree. Getting a degree in anything isn't like waving a magic wand and you suddenly have a path to success. Whatever you choose to do, with or without, you will have to work really hard to succeed. Yeah, this is just... I'm definitely gonna go with person number 1. Verdict. Judge's gavel. Not the bad guy. I'm gonna go ahead and back it up. The second one I found. Am I the bad guy for not inviting my future mother-in-law to the engagement party? So, I, a 24-year-old male, am planning to propose to my girlfriend, who's 24 soon. I bought the ring and basically took it on a tour to show all of her friends and get their approval, and all of my friends to do the same. I then asked her dad for his blessing, and her mom too. I didn't feel like asking her mom was all too important, but I did it anyways, because her mom likes to be kept part of things. I'm really excited about this because me and my girlfriend have been together for about 5 years. We met in college. She has always wanted her immediate family and friends there when she got engaged, and I love the idea. So recently, since about June of this year, I have been getting her used to having those people around so that when I finally pop the question, she wouldn't be suspicious. Here's the problem, and why I don't want to invite her mom. girlfriend called me earlier this week and was like, "Babe, you're fake." Me being completely confused, asked what she was talking about. She says, "My mom says she'd seen the ring and that you're going to propose to me on Thanksgiving and everyone will be at her house when I do it, so I should dress nicely." I tell her that her mom isn't lying and that this isn't the case, and she doesn't believe me. That was my original plan, but it's ruined now, and so Thanksgiving has come and goes and nothing happens. The surprise is ruined. My girlfriend is mad at me because she was really expecting it to happen. I then call her mom and tell her that she will no longer be notified when I propose because she cannot keep one secret, because she clearly cannot keep the one secret and completely ruined the surprise. My mom said I was selfish to keep her away from the party. Oh, her mom. Her mom said I was selfish to keep her away from the party and that I had better think twice before doing that. I told her whatever and to mind her business, and she'll find out when she finds out. She called my girlfriend, told my girlfriend something completely different, and now she is angry with me and talking to me because she thinks I was being the bad guy. I feel bad. Am I the bad guy? Edit. Girlfriend and I spoke, and she asked me what happened between her and her mother. I told her straight up what happened. I told her I wanted it to be a surprise, and that she agreed she would rather me do it unexpectedly, and was shocked that her mom actually told her, since she knows how much she likes surprises. She then called her mom and told her off. Her mom apologized to me, but still feels like she has a right to say something about it, since my girlfriend is her daughter, and now it has gotten to the point where the girlfriend doesn't want the mom around for the engagement party either, because she doesn't like her sense of entitlement. Her mom is now angry because she feels I am too stubborn and have brainwashed her daughter, and is now not speaking to me. I am now going to propose to her at our New Year's Eve party when we watch the ball drop. So, no. I don't think person 2 is the bad guy either. I think that it was, like, that's just such a terrible thing to do. Like, he's planning to pop the question that will affect their lives for the hopefully rest of their lives, and for you to go behind his back and completely ruin the surprise and to undermine everything. That's such a horrible thing to do. It just completely ruins the moment. And I mean, that's such a narcissistic thing to do. Like, why would you feel so entitled to ruin his surprise for her? Like, I don't think that, that's not at this point, no, I don't think he's the bad guy. Let's see, some of the comments. Sounds like you should do a solo proposal with a close friend there to take a photo and forget the family plan. It's not too bad. Oh, the OP commented, that is now the current plan. Have an engagement party after the engagement that isn't a surprise, so that way the mother-in-law can't look down on it. I can't say that word. We will definitely do a separate one after the proposal has already been made, so it looks like OP already has an idea. But yeah, 100% mother-in-law problems need to be squashed as soon as possible. Future fiance also needs to know that her mom should not be involved in your decisions with your marriage. Kind of agree with that. Mom seems the type to do pregnancy and birth announcements on social media on behalf of them because she's the grandma. We might see, in a few months, might see another post from this person. But yeah, I definitely don't think that the writer is the bad guy in their story, and I think that the mother-in-law should have stayed out of it completely because it is not her marriage and it's not really, at the end of the day, any of her business. So, our last story for the day is titled, Am I the Bad Guy for Not Warning My Cousins that my fiancé can understand them when they speak about him in a different language? My fiancé comes from a very mixed background and speaks a lot of languages. His great-grandmother comes from the same country as my grandparents, so he speaks Urdu too. A lot of people assume he's white though, and just looking at him, you wouldn't guess that he has Pakistani ancestry. Apologies. 3 of my cousins met him for the very first time on Saturday. In front of him, they switched to Urdu and were asking me questions about him, including, where did I find this hot white man? I told them to stop, and they did, and switched back to English. My mom called me to set the table for dinner, so I left them alone with my fiancé. As soon as I left, I could hear them switch back to Urdu, and were making inappropriate comments about my fiancé. He said that he found it funny, and wasn't bothered by it, and when they were wondering if they should ask me if the white man was good in bed, he told them I wouldn't know yet in Urdu, and they freaked out. They ended up leaving before dinner because they were so mortified, and then today they called me to yell at me for not telling them ahead of time that he spoke Urdu, and claimed they were only joking around, and never would have said any of those things if they knew he understood. They did apologize to my fiancé, but they still blame me for not warning them, since they had no way of knowing that he understood them, and I knew they liked to make dumb jokes. This one is really, really, really simple. No. And they deserved it. They deserved the embarrassment for attempting to speak another language around him in the hopes that he didn't understand him, which is, it's a gamble, and a lot of people don't see it as is. They just switch to another language so that they can have, and I fully understand they want to have a conversation amongst themselves, but to take that conversation and turn it into what they did, no, you are not the bad guy. They definitely deserved that embarrassment of making all those jokes and inappropriate comments just for him to understand every single word of it and then call them out on it. No, you're definitely not the bad guy, and they definitely deserved all of it. So let's go ahead and head to the comments and see what other posters thought. Top comment. That was hilarious, and they deserve to be embarrassed like this. Fully agree. If you switch to languages in front of someone and talk about them, it's rude, even if they don't understand the language. And I kind of agree. Especially if you specifically talk about the person under the assumption that they won't understand you. That's just rude. Maybe because I'm a person that's like, if you got something to say, just say it, kind of person. I'd rather you just tell me and we can address it, rather than it's sort of like talking about someone behind their back, except you're doing it to their face. So definitely agree with that. I was a manager of a large company and had a supplier do this to me once. I'm guessing he assumed I was just a worker, so I smiled when he spoke with his boss on FaceTime in Spanish and served customers like I normally would. Our town is about a 15-minute drive and a border away from America, which is a primarily Spanish-spoken area. When the store was empty, I told him in Spanish that I was sorry about the supposed non-compliance he was whining about, but that he hadn't got their branded straws, so we bought our own in their color as the best case scenario workaround. So maybe instead of complaining, he should find out why multiple stores weren't sent the right supplies. He was absolutely mortified, and his boss couldn't have apologized more to my back as I waved and walked back to my office in the back. I'm always shocked at how ignorant people can be when they think others can't understand them. That's completely fair. Let's see, and I think that's, so here's another one. Yep, my husband is Arabic. Can I speak Arabic? No, other than some cuss words. Can I understand Arabic? Yes, a good amount because I used to hear it often enough when we lived near his family. I can damn sure to recognize the word for your wife. As a side note, I love my in-laws, and they would never talk about me in malice, just showing another example of how people can understand languages without necessarily having to speak them. So yeah, you're definitely not the bad guy, and they definitely deserved everything they got. So, what do you guys think? Leave comments down below. Do you think person 1, 2, 3 were the bad guys in their story? I'd love to hear what you think. But that's all I got for now. Thanks, guys. Bye.